to have such an enthusiastic group of participants joining us today. Refugee law is not just a subject of academic inquiry, it is living, it is a breathing reality that affects millions across the globe. Tonight, we gather to learn, reflect, and engage with perspectives that connect the classroom to the field, the theory of practice, law to community. Humanity. So I would like to introduce myself at first. My name is Kumkum Azabin. I'm a second year undergrad law student at London College of Legal Studies South. I believe that such sessions are very much important for every one of us today here. And it is an absolute honor and pleasure to be your host today. So it is my absolute privilege to introduce our distinguished guest speaker for the entire session, and that is Sakhawat Sajjat Sejan sir. So, sir is an assistant professor of Department of Law at Bangladesh University, and he is the founder of Bangladesh Center for Refugee Law Studies, which is BCRLS. Now, Professor Sejan sir is one of the leading voices in Bangladesh on refugee law, research, and field-based legal studies. Now, his pioneering work has created a platform for rigorous scholarship while also amplifying the voice of those living in refugee camps. He has dedicated his career exploring intersection of law, human rights, and humanitarian realities. Now, this evening, he will take us on a short but insightful journey into the world of refugee law. He will be sharing his experiences from the recent fieldwork and throughout his reflections on the real life scenarios, we will gain a deeper understanding of the challenges that are usually faced by those who are displaced, who do not have an identity to talk about at any time. We will understand the challenges that these people face, the population face, and the role of law in addressing those challenges issues, how we can help those who are displaced, who have no name, and also the importance of ethical sensitive research in such serious context that is very much prevalent recently. Now, by the end of the session, we can absolutely understand a few stuff. So I would like to give a little summary of what we would be covering today. So Sari is going to share his real life experiences, his field experiences that that was very far from the textbooks that we have read about refugee law or from displaced people. We will understand the real life stories, the struggles, the resilience that shape the refugee experiences, and then we will understand of practical guidance on how to conduct a meaningful yet an ethical legal research on those issues and subjects. We will understand the sensitivity and the vulnerability of these people, the environment, how to balance everything with compassion. And lastly, we would also get a rare opportunity to learn directly from a pioneer in Bangladesh refugee law studies. Absolutely, that is Sejan sir with us today. So he has combined the academic expertise with field-based engagement to create an amazing experience for all of the new law students who are interested in refugee law and everything. So we will also have a Q&A session after the main discussion will be done. So you will have a chance to ask any of the questions, or you can say anything that you feel about the entire situation after during the Q&A session. So with that, I would like to give the opportunity and the stage or the floor to our key host, that is our Sakhawat Sajjat Sejan sir. So sir, I believe you are here with us today. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Am I audible?
Sorry, sir.
Walaikum
Yes,
assalam.
sir.
Yes, sir, you're
Okay,
audible.
fine.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the generous introduction, Kumkum. It means a lot coming from BD Opinion Juries. I would like to thank Shiraji for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to join with you all and try to share the experiences that I had with me. I experienced while I was working in the Bhasanchor as well as in the camps of Ukia, Cox's Bazar. So for me, refugee law is more than an emotion. I am emotionally connected to the Rohingyas and the refugee law since my days of graduation. I guess I was in my fourth year of studies when I was at first I got the chance to interact with international refugee law and the Rohingya crisis in 2017. This is the time when the Rohingyas came into Bangladesh and took refuge in Bangladesh for uh, because they faced atrocities in the lands of Myanmar. So after that, there was no going back. In general, initially, I used to like forensic evidence as a subject of research. Then, after the Rohingyas' arrival, everything has changed. The dimension and interest of mine regarding research has changed, and it turned into the perspectives of international refugee law and specifically Rohingya crisis, focusing on the perspective and dimensions of global south regarding refugee protection and Rohingyas protection in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, or whatsoever country they have taken refuge. So I must applaud video opinion juries for arranging this wonderful platform for all the enthusiasts of law, or I might say the legal minds who wants to excel in their legal career and want to do well with their respective careers. Also, the dimensions that the video OJ is covering is huge. All the students who could not access to a lot of opportunities, and as a result they could not excel into a lot of opportunities. The platform has given refuge. In fact, I should say like this: the platform has given refuge to a lot of students who could not get access to a lot of extraordinary stuffs. I might and must thank the platform as well as the founders and the advisors who has come up with this wonderful initiative. So, making no further delay, I would like to. There are some issues with the camera of my laptop after update, so I will be using the phone for the fact of camera and my laptop for the cases of presentation. So, without any further delay, I am going to my.
Before Sir starts off his session, I would like to request all of you to please um, keep your mic or turned off during the entire session. If you have any queries, any concerns, anything that you want to ask Sir, please raise your hand and then ask it when Sir allows. So thank you. I hope you all will be cordial throughout the entire session.
Screen. Is the screen visible on our screens?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's start. As you know that the host Kumkum has already mentioned, I have been working uh, with an organization titled Bangladesh Center for Refugee Law Studies. So this is an initiative that I and we have personally taken after a lot of thought when we were working in the field of refugee law. We thought of doing something extraordinary to increase refugee law literacy in Bangladesh, as there is no center. If we look at the Western countries as well as the Australian countries, also the European countries, all of these countries have centers that are dedicated specifically to the protection of refugees and refugee law. So we thought of introducing something like this in Bangladesh. Then we went for it after a cohesive plan. So we tried our best initially to get hold of the people who wants to and who have interest in the field of refugee law. So this was a part of the plan. We went for a visit to Hashanchar. Is it okay if I talk in Bengali, everyone?
Yes, sir.
ওকে। তো এইটা আমাদের প্ল্যান ছিল যে আমরা যখনই কাজ শুরু করব, আমরা উই উইল নট বি someone who will always be fond of books, journals, and articles. Amra, apart from the library, apart from the digital library, we will go to the field, learn from the interaction of the people, and hence we planned for something extraordinary. I should say extraordinary because it was not easy. আমরা এই যে ভিজিটটাতে যাওয়ার জন্য আমরা প্রথমে সবার আগে যেটা করছিলাম, আমরা RRRC বাংলাদেশের যে রেফিউজি রিপ্যাট্রিয়েশন কমিশনার আছে কক্সবাজারে, ওই আমরা একটা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ফিল আউট করছি। সেখানে আমাদের টোটাল রিসার্চের যে প্ল্যান, আমাদের এই রিসার্চটা বেসিক্যালি রেফিউজিদের হায়ার এডুকেশন নিয়ে, কিভাবে আমরা রেফিউজিদেরকে হায়ার এডুকেশনে নিয়ে যেতে পারবো, প্রসেসটা কেমন, এবং যাদেরকে নিয়ে যাওয়ার প্ল্যান করতেছি ওখানে আমরা কেমন স্টেক হোল্ডার পাবো যারা অ্যাকচুয়ালি হায়ার স্টাডি পারসিউ করতে চায়। সো আমাদের এটা প্রস্তাব রেডি করলাম, প্রস্তাব রেডি করে আমরা প্রস্তাব সহ একটা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন আমরা RRRC বরাবর জমা দিলাম। ইট অলমোস্ট টুক 15 days to get the permission. Our advisor helped us in the process. আমরা ওই পারমিশনটা নেওয়ার পরে আমাদের ডেট ছিল যে আমরা 25 তারিখের মধ্যে এই ভিজিটে যেতে হবে। সো যখন আমরা অ্যাপ্রুভাল পাই, আমাদের হাতে সময় ছিল মাত্র 5 দিন। তো আমরা ইমিডিয়েটলি ডিসিশন নিয়েছিলাম যে আমরা এই 5 দিনের মধ্যে যে কোনো 3 দিন এই ইয়েতে গিয়ে ক্যাম্পে গিয়ে ভিজিট করে আসবো, এবং আমাদের যে প্রশ্নগুলো ছিল, আমাদের যে কোয়েশ্চেনার ছিল, সেই কোয়েশ্চেনার থেকে সবকিছু আমরা রেডি করে ওভারঅল নিয়ে চলে আসবো। সো ওইখান থেকে আমাদের মোটামুটি যাওয়া, ভাষাঞ্চরে যাওয়া এবং ভাষাঞ্চরে যাওয়ার প্ল্যান। এখানে আমি বেশ কিছু পিকচার ইনিশিয়াল আমার যে ফার্স্ট স্ক্রিনে দিছি। এখানে আমি প্রথম পিকচার, এই যে আই ডোন্ট নো ওয়েদার ইজ দ্য অ্যারো ভিজিবল, অ্যারো কি দেখা যাচ্ছে? এই যে প্রথম পিকচারটা, এটা হচ্ছে একটা স্কুলে। এখানে ক্লাস 6 থেকে ক্লাস 12 পর্যন্ত বাচ্চারা পড়ে। একেবারে ক্লাস 6 থেকে ক্লাস 12 পর্যন্ত। ওরা এটাকে অবশ্য ক্লাস বলে না, ওটা গ্রেড বলে। গ্রেড 6 থেকে গ্রেড 12 পর্যন্ত বাচ্চারা পড়ে। এটা হচ্ছে ওই ছবিটা। আমরা ওদের সাথে ওদের ক্লাসরুমে গিয়ে আমাদের যেই ইনফরমেশনগুলো দরকার ছিল, ওরা কোথায় পড়াশোনা করছে, বেসিক পড়াশোনা কোত্থেকে শুরু করছে, এই পর্যন্ত কি কি পড়ছে, সামনে কি কি পড়তে চায়, ওদের ক্যারিয়ার প্ল্যান কি, ওরা নিজেদের ভবিষ্যৎকে কিভাবে চিন্তা করে, এবং ওরা কিভাবে জিনিসটাকে পারসিভ করতে চায়, কিভাবে ক্যারিয়ারকে পারসিউ করতে চায়, কিভাবে ওরা ওদের ফিউচার গোলগুলোকে পারসিউ করতে চায় এই সিচুয়েশনে, এবং ওদের দেশে ফেরত যাওয়ার বিষয়ে ওদের পারসেপশন কি, সেগুলো নিয়ে আমাদের পুরো প্রশ্ন ছিল। তো ওগুলোর শেষে আমরা যখন স্কুল থেকে নামতেছিলাম, উই গট দ্য চান্স টু click this picture with the refugee Rohingya children in this particular school. এই স্কুলগুলা একটা লার্নিং সেন্টারগুলো মূলত ব্র্যাক চালায়। ব্র্যাক হচ্ছে ওদের রোহিঙ্গাদের মধ্য থেকে কিছু গ্রেড 12 পাস করা কিছু ছেলেপেলেকে বের করে, ছেলে মেয়ে ইরেসপেক্টিভ অফ এনি জেন্ডার, বের করার পর ওদেরকে সরাসরি ওখানে অ্যাপয়েন্ট করে, এবং ওরা যা কিছু শিখছে, অথবা ওরা মায়ানমারের কারিকুলাম থেকে যা কিছু শিখে ইয়েতে আসছে, বাংলাদেশে আসছে রেফিউজি হিসেবে, সবগুলা জিনিস ওরা ওখানে এদেরকে শেখানোর চেষ্টা করে। which I found very interesting in the camps is ওরা they know very well versed English, and also they are very good at their communication while they are talking in English. এবং পাশাপাশি ইংরেজির পাশাপাশি ওদের যে মাতৃভাষা, ওদের যে মাদার টাং, দে আর ভেরি গুড ইন দ্যাট। সো বাংলাদেশ সরকারের একটা পলিসি যে অ্যাজ উই ডু নট রিকগনাইজ দ্যাম অ্যাজ দ্য রেফিউজিজ, আমাদের দেশে যেহেতু রেফিউজি রিলেটেড কোনো স্টেটিউট নাই, এবং আমরা যেহেতু রেফিউজি কনভেনশন 1951 এর সিগনেটরি না, সো বাংলাদেশ সরকার আফটার ইস্যুইং আ নোটিফিকেশন অর গ্যাজেট, থ্রু আ গ্যাজেট, বাংলাদেশ সরকার এই রোহিঙ্গা যারা আছে বাংলাদেশে সবাইকে নাম দিয়েছে ফোর্সিবলি ডিসপ্লেসড মায়ানমার ন্যাশনাল। সো দোজ পিপল they do not call themselves, unfortunately these people do not call themselves refugees, they call themselves FDMNs, এবং ওরা পরিচয় করে দেওয়ার সময় নিজেদেরকে FDMN পরিচয় করায় দেয়। So this is I found it very, though বাংলাদেশের পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে this is fine, but যখনই আমি as an activist of refugee law অথবা অ্যাজ এ লার্নার অফ রেফিউজি ল, আমি যখনই এই পার্সপেক্টিভটাকে দেখি, তখন আমার মনে হয় যে দিস ইজ এ ভেরি সাবস্ট্যান্ডার্ড অ্যান্ড সাবহিউম্যান লাইফ দ্য রেফিউজিস আর লিভিং ইন দ্য ক্যাম্পস অফ ভাসানচর এন্ড কক্সেস বাজার। কক্সেস বাজারে তাও তো বেশ কিছু ফ্যাসিলিটিস আছে, বাট ভাসানচর ইজ এন আইসোলেটেড আইল্যান্ড। ওখানে সবকিছুই আছে, দ্য লাইফ ইজ গুড, প্রোটেক্টেড, রেফিউজিস আর লিভিং ওয়েল দেয়ার, অ্যাকসেপ্ট এডুকেশন অ্যান্ড অ্যাকসেপ্ট প্রপার এডুকেশন অ্যান্ড মেডিকেল ফ্যাসিলিটিস। ওখানে যদি কেউ যদি খুব সিরিয়াস অসুস্থ হয়ে পড়ে, দেয়ার ইজ নো গুড মেডিকেল in the whole Bhasanchar. There is aid centers and some medical centers যেখানে প্যারামেডিকরা বসে, পাশাপাশি দুই একজন ডাক্তার থাকে, বাট স্টিল there are almost 37,260 people, প্রায় 40,000-এর কাছাকাছি মানুষজন ওখানে থাকে। আনফর্চুনেটলি ওদের জন্য খুব অল্প সংখ্যক ডাক্তার সেখানে আছে, এবং কেউ যদি লেটস সে ফর এক্সাম্পল সামওয়ানস প্রেগনেন্ট এবং দেখা যাচ্ছে দেয়ার আর কমপ্লিকেশনস এবং ডেলিভারিতে হয়তো মেডিকেল হেল্প লাগবে, তো ওই রকম সিনারিওতে কি দাঁড়ায় যে দে আর আনএবল টু take them to the hospitals, and most of the cases it seems that অনেকে ওই বাচ্চা জন্ম দেওয়ার সময়ই মারা যাচ্ছে। দেয়ার আর লট অফ কেসেস অলসো। অনেক সময় এরকম হয় যে কেউ সিরিয়ার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছে, তখন ওদের প্রসেসটা এমন যে ওখান থেকে বের হতে হলে দে নিড পারমিশন, একটা নির্দিষ্ট প্রসেস ফলো করে পারমিশন নিতে হয়। পারমিশন নেওয়ার পরে তারা ওখান থেকে বেরোতে পারে, হুইচ ইজ টাফ। দো এমার্জেন্সি সিচুয়েশনে এই জিনিসটা ওয়েভ করে, বাট স্টিল ওই ওয়েভারটা ইজ নট এনাফ টু গিভ দেম প্রপার প্রোটেকশন। এই গেল ফার্স্ট পিকচারের বর্ণনা। দেন গোয়িং টু সেকেন্ড পিকচার। ইজ দ্য অ্যারো ভিজিবল?
Yes.
Please do respond whenever I'm asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next picture, I was talking with I was talking with this guy. সে গ্রেড 12 পর্যন্ত পড়াশোনা কমপ্লিট করছে, আমরা ওর সাথে বসছি আলোচনা করতে। আমি যখন ওকে জিজ্ঞেস করলাম যে দেখো অমুক, তুমি কি পড়াশোনা করতে চাও কিনা, অবশ্য ওইভাবে জিজ্ঞেস করে নেই, তাদের সাথে চিরাঙের যে ডায়ালেক্ট সেটা মিল আছে। আমি জিজ্ঞেস করলাম তো ফন্নাফের তো সও নাকি, ওদের ডায়ালেক্ট তো এটা। আই ডোন্ট নো ওয়েদার ইউ পিপল আন্ডারস্টুড অর নট। ওকে আমি প্রশ্ন করলাম ফন্নাফের তো চাও নাকি। ফন্নাফের তো চাও মানে হচ্ছে বেসিক্যালি পড়াশোনা করতে চাও কিনা। ও বললো যে পড়াশোনা করার সুযোগ থাকলে I would have definitely studied, but life hasn't given us the chance, এবং এটাই হয়েছে ওদের সাথে। these people are bound to live the life which is very substandard, এবং যেখানে আমি চাইলেই পড়াশোনা করতে পারছি না। এটা না আমরা বুঝবো না। এখানে আমরা যারা ঢাকায় বসে আছি, আমরা যারা একটা ফার্স্ট ক্লাস সিটিজেনের লাইফ লিড করতেছি, we won't understand how these people are surviving here. I can see 2 people have raised their hands. Please do ask the questions একটু তাড়াতাড়ি। Ononna, most probably, not sure. Ononna,
Sir, I have a issue.
please.
Sir, actually, I actually don't get Bangla, so please kindly take the session in English as well.
All right. No issues. Ononna, do you want to say something?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sure. Farooq, do you want to say something?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Actually, I have a question to you. Actually, we are talking about refugee law. So my question is, such like contract law, tort law, and labor law, is it kind of law that is a refugee law that about we are talking that topics we are talking about?
Definitely. This is a special branch of law, as we know that if we speak from the perspective of international law, then this is a very special branch and one of the oldest branch of law, which we call and define as refugee law. Thank you so much, Farooq. Let's go for the second picture. So this picture, I was asking him whether do you want to study, brother. He said that yes, who does not want to study, but unfortunately this the system that currently Bangladesh government has given for us, or what we got from the government of Bangladesh, is we're allowed to study till grade 12, but not after that. There are some people who study after grade 12, but these people are not legally studying after grade 12. So I do not want to hide my identity to study and pursue higher studies in universities. I do not want to hide my identity, as well as I do not want to say that I'm someone else who wants to study. I want to give my identity. I want to let people know that I am a Rohingya Rohingya boy, and I want to pursue my higher studies. So that's the moment I was laughing, not actually laughing. I was smiling that yeah, that is a kind of that is a kind of a goal these people should have to serve their community in future. Then this is the second picture. Then move to the third one. Can you see the third one? Okay, so basically, our one of our team members was talking to another dropout student after grade 11. After grade 11, these people want to study, but unfortunately, there is nothing to do after grade 12. There is nothing to do after grade 12. Some study centers are there in the camps of Cox's Bazar, but there are no particular study centers that will help them to study after grade 12 in this whole area of Bhashanchar. Also, I got the opportunity to meet with one of the aspiring boys or aspiring human beings of Bhashanchar. I know him as Hedayatullah. I also had a discussion with him today regarding the opportunities of higher studies. So he is one of the brightest young minds I have found in the whole Bhashanchar, who wants to pursue his higher studies through the help of a scholarship. But unfortunately, this guy is also unable to pursue higher studies due to the funding issues. Also, regarding there is a problem regarding the identity issues. I would like to mention there is something very special about special step that is being taken by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. It has arranged some scholarship for the Rohingya women, and they can study in the Asian University for Women. And there are a lot of Rohingya sisters who are studying in the Asian University for Women in Chittagong. But unlike the women refugees, there are no such arrangement for the male refugees in the camps. As a result, most of the students or FDM and whatever the government calls, these people cannot pursue their higher studies after grade 12. Yes, Anika, please ask the question.
স্যার আমার প্রশ্নটা ছিল রেফিউজিদের হায়ার স্টাডিজ এর প্রসেস আর আমাদের নর্মাল সিটিজেনদের হায়ার স্টাডিজ এর প্রসেস কি সেম কিনা?
Thank you so much for the question. This is a very wonderful question, I must say. Trust me, the process is same if we designate these people as human beings. The process is very same, but unfortunately, there is something called law. There is something called regulation. There is something called Bangladeshi statute and Bangladeshi rules and regulations, which we must follow and have to follow as a citizen of Bangladesh. So it is very easy. It is our designated right. See, the state if we look in the Constitution of Bangladesh, getting education is determined and defined as fundamental principle of state policy. That means state will not be taking any positive action. That means state will not be providing you the higher studies, but state will not prohibit you from getting higher studies. So we are by nature allowed by the state to pursue higher studies. There is no problem. We pursue SSC, we pursue HSC. After that, we pursue admission test, or we pursue and getting admitted into public or private universities of Bangladesh. But in the cases of Rohingyas, they are prohibited. They do not get the rights that we get from the Constitution of Bangladesh.
মানে স্যার তাদের ক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে তাদের প্যাশন আর তাদের পরিশ্রমের উপর ডিপেন্ড করবে।
There is that depends basically because there are scholarships. They have to wait for the scholarships. They have to wait for the opportunities provided by UNHCR, DAIFI or DAD, by the German government or other governments who wants to take the refugees for higher studies. But in terms of getting the basic facilities like higher education, like us, the citizens of Bangladesh, it's not easy for them. It is not easily accessible for them. They can get it through changing their identities, which is very tough considering the legal scenario of Bangladesh. Shishir.
Is there any provision in the international law that allow this kind of activities?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if there are provisions in international law, but you must have to keep in mind that Bangladesh has to ratify the convention first. If you want to obligate Bangladesh as a country to give education to the refugees or the forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals, Bangladesh has to ratify the convention first. but as a South Asian country, like every other South Asian countries, except Afghanistan, like Pakistan, India, Nepal, Maldives, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. All of them haven't ratified the Refugee Convention, and that's why you cannot actually force Bangladesh to give them education. It is on the will and mercy of the Bangladesh government to give them education.
Then why Western countries never force the Rohingyas to actually locate in the corner of the Myanmar? It will be better off, I think. It will be much
This
better
is
off
not that
for
easy.
the.
This is not that easy, because which you are suggesting is it is kind of spoon feeding the Rohingyas, and forcing the Myanmar government to locate the Rohingyas in Myanmar, to the lands of Myanmar. As you know, the Rakhine state has already been taken over by the Arakan army, which is in the and the current military junta government, which is controlling the whole area, whole Myanmar, except the Rakhine, cannot control the uh, total process of Rohingya repatriation, because the place is not under control of the Myanmar government. Thank you so much, Shishir. I'm not taking any more questions from you. Yes, Uzmapu, please.
আচ্ছা, সেটা হচ্ছে যে যখন কিনা রোহিঙ্গাদেরকে প্রথম ওখানে অ্যালোকেট করা হয়, আমরা জাতিসংঘের কিছু কনসার্ন দেখছিলাম যে ওদের রাইট টু মুভমেন্ট বা এই জিনিসগুলো মানে রাইট টু মুভমেন্টের মতো ফান্ডামেন্টাল হিউম্যান রাইটস ভায়োলেট হবে কিনা, ওরা কি এখন মানে মেইনল্যান্ডে আসতে পারে কিনা, আর না আসতে পারলে তাদের এরকম হিউম্যান রাইটস যে ভায়োলেশন হচ্ছে সেটার ব্যাপারে আসলে আপনাদের সেই কি?
Okay, fine. Thank you so much for the wonderful question. So, রোহিঙ্গারা ওখান থেকে মেইনল্যান্ডে আসতে না পারলো, the whole ভাষাঞ্চল is so beautifully organized. মানে ওদের কখনো ফিলই হবে না যে ওরা ওখানে, মানে the 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 whole area is too much organized for the refugees to stay there. If we think from the people perspective of the people living there, except the medical and educational facilities. So as a result, the people who are living there, they do not want to leave the island, and the island is totally protected. No life threats. In fact, if we take the examples of the camps of Cox's Bazar, there are people who are killing the Rohingya brothers are killing the Rohingya brothers. So there are no such issues or cases in the lands of Bhashanchar, as the place is protected. And regarding the movement, they can move to the whole Bhashanchar. They can go outside the designated areas. But yeah, whenever connecting to the mainland, they have to take permission from the camp in charge and the Navy, Bangladesh Navy, who are actually navigating and regulating the area. But they also get the permission very easily. In fact, when the day we were leaving for the field visit, we almost carried, like we almost accompanied we are almost accompanied by almost more than 500 Rohingyas who went to visit to the camps of Cox's Bazar to meet their relatives after getting the permission from camp in charge and the Navy officials. Thank you so much, Apu. The next question. This is the last question I'm taking before going for the presentation.
Sir, you have already said that Bangladesh and other countries have not ratified the refugee law. Is it possible to ratify the refugee law right now, or if it is possible, then why Bangladesh is not doing that?
Okay, thank you so much. This is also a very wonderful question. Bangladesh, it is always possible to ratify a convention. It does not require much to ratify a convention. But unfortunately, the political will of the South Asian countries, not only Bangladesh, none of the South Asian countries have ratified the convention. And as a result, due to the regional contagiousness, which we call Songramok in Bengali, Bangladesh could not accede to the refugee convention. Also, the current scenario, if we consider the current scenario of the political situation in our country, it's pretty tough to exit into the convention, as there is no elected government. So it requires the mandate of the public. It requires the mandate of the elected government, which represents the people of the country, to accede to the convention. So that's why Bangladesh has to wait. But still, Bangladesh can do that, as Bangladesh recently has acceded to the convention on enforced disappearance. Bangladesh could have done that, but it will not be very much helpful for Bangladesh, considering the perspective refugee protection in our country. As Bangladesh is currently hosting more than 1.3 million refugees in our country, it will be burdening the government. But it will be burdening the government considering the scenario. But from the humanitarian perspective, this is totally fine. Bangladesh should be approaching that with by considering the humanitarian aspect of the whole refugee protection approach. But it will not help the Rohingyas, as the most of the Rohingyas I found that they want to go to their land, go to their motherland and start their community there. They want to work for there. They want to fight for their identity, which is not very easy, and which will not be doable if Bangladesh government give them the proper refugee protection. If once remember that if a person once become refugee, he or she will not be able to go to their own country. Able to will not be a proper phrase. I would rather say uh, none of the cases, or there is no history of any case that some refugees got refugee status in a particular country, in a particular host country, and they went back to their origin country after the situation got normal. So that's why Bangladesh is not basically acceding to the convention. They are trying to uh, resolve the matter bilaterally with the discussion and through the discussion with the Myanmar government, which requires a lot of time, and that's why the whole scenario is procrastinating. So the fourth picture in the presentation, as you can see, the our team of Bangladesh Center for Refugee Law Studies are there. We are almost 9 people who went to the chart for the whole project. These are the people I want to acknowledge their contribution. They have worked very hard. So this is a BRAC learning centers. This is the classroom that the Rohingya children from grade 3 to grade 12 are getting their education. So the one who's standing wearing a shirt and a lungi is one of the masters and teachers who are actually teaching the Rohingya children regarding the subjects that is being permitted by the government of Bangladesh, in obviously in the Burmese language and English, not in Bengali. So going for the next phase of the discussion. uh, so why should we pursue the refugee law research to get the a specific dimension or a specific goal through our research. The first point I would like to mention is the significance of refugee law in Bangladesh's Rohingya response is very demandable and very needed, because Bangladesh is protecting the refugees from what I can say is mercy-based approach. Mercy, Doya. Bangladesh is giving everything to the Rohingya FDMNs on the basis of mercy. On the basis of mercy, and the Rohingyas are unable to claim anything out of right. Like we are the citizens of Bangladesh, we can, if we do not enjoy the freedom of movement, if we do not enjoy the right to education, if we do not enjoy the freedom of speech, will, conscience, we can ask the government, we can ask questions, we can go to the court to ensure our rights. But in the cases of Rohingyas, the cases is not as such, because they are not designated and recognized as refugees in our country. As a result, this particular gap, the gap of non-protection, the gap of non-recognition, have given me courage as a researcher of refugee law, to pursue research in international refugee law. Also, uh, considering the movement of people, considering the movement of migrants and refugees all over the world, the numbers of refugees have kept increasing. It hasn't happened that the number has decreased. The number has kept increasing. Uh, so the numbers are going to increase in future. They are not going to decrease. So Bangladesh is situated in such a zone that it might have to carry the burden of refugees not only from Myanmar but also from some other Indian states like Assam or something, if the political situations get escalated. So that's why Bangladesh should be giving significance to the refugee law in refugee protection, apart from the Rohingyas protection response. So there is also a gap that we as a team and I personally as a researcher have found, that the international legal standards which is being given and prescribed by the international refugee law, let's say, for example, the United Nations Refugee Convention 1951, or United Nations Refugee Protocol 1967, or the Cartagena Declaration, or the Global Compact on Refugees. All these refugee conventions, protocols, or the soft laws are giving a comprehensive mechanism to give protection to the refugees. But when it comes to the process of implementation, unfortunately, I would like to mention that from the history of the emergence of refugee law after 1950 till now, I am sitting in the year 2025. This is almost 75 years after the adoption of the United Nations Refugee Convention 1951. Only 1% of the protracted refugees who got their refuge in the host state were being repatriated, or were being voluntarily repatriated to their origin country. বাংলায় বললে জিনিসটা এরকম দাঁড়ায় যে 1950 সালের পর থেকে 2025 সাল পর্যন্ত, এখন পর্যন্ত মাত্র 1 থেকে 2% রেফিউজিদেরকে রিপ্যাট্রিয়েট করা পসিবল হয়েছে, which is very low if we consider the number of refugees around the world. So the next point that I have given in my discussion is why Bhashan Chor represents a unique case study in offshore refugee management. This is a very unique case study in a sense that initially the non-governmental organizations, also the international non-governmental organizations have said that Bhashan Chor is not a very safe area for the refugees to settle in. There are chances of overflooding, flooding, and other climate disasters, as Bangladesh is a disaster-prone country. During the monsoon, it might get tough for the refugees. But trust me, the way the Bangladesh Navy and the Bangladesh government have designed the chor, it gives protection to the refugee, protection to the Rohingyas in Bhashan Chor from the climate disasters or any other disaster related to climate, but unfortunately not in terms of the medical facilities or educational facilities. So this is a unique case, not only because of the fact that this is an island located almost 50 to 60 kilometers away from the mainland, which requires almost 6 to 7 hours to reach from the mainland. Apart from this fact, reaching to the island covering 6 to 7 hours, the whole structural arrangement is a unique example for the refugee protection, considering the refugee protection standards living or having all over the world. This is very organized in a sense that it gives protection from the climate related disasters. It gives designated houses to the refugees. It has learning centers for the Rohingya children and the boys who wants to pursue their studies. It has cyclone shelters if there is any cyclone going to hit. The clusters are being divided and separated, which divides the population very, very nicely. And as a result, the place is not very overpopulated like the camps of Ukhia and Cox's Bazar. So considering the examples of the refugee protection approaches, refugee protection mechanisms, or refugee protection camps that has been adopted by different countries around the world, but Bhashanchar remains a very unique example, and it is to be mentioned that Bhashanchar, apart from the complications with educational and medical facilities, Bhashanchar is a very good example for refugee protection. But some things need to be fixed, which I have already mentioned. The permission taking approach while going to the mainland, the appropriate medical facilities for the Rohingyas and the FDMNs living there. Also, having the chances, getting trainings or vocational trainings, or getting the opportunities of higher study somehow uh, from the camps of Bhashanchar. So. Apart from these cases, if we look at the examples of the refugee camps across Europe, in Africa, or some other countries, none of these places are so well designated and well organized like Bhashanchar. Yes, I can cite an example from Lebanon. Uh, Lebanon is not also a country that has signed the Refugee Convention 1951. So Lebanon is also giving them organized protection, giving the Syrian refugees organized protection in their own land. So bringing the examples of Lebanon and bringing the examples of Bhashanchar, I can easily say that Bhashanchar is very unique case study for offshore refugee management that is organized with a lot of facilities, including the cyclone shelters, to organized homes, to the learning centers, and etc. Okay, going to the next slide. Are you guys listening? Is it fine? Is everything fine? Am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So, bringing the context of Bhashanchar, as I have said, that this is located in the Bay of Bengal, which is purpose-built relocation site. In fact, I would like to mention that I have written in one of my papers, published by the University of Wolverhampton, United Kingdom. It has said that the relocation that has been done by the Bangladeshi government, the relocation of Rohingyas to the Bhashanchar, uh, is actually the propagation of internal relocation alternative or relocation alternative principle, which is an important principle of the international refugee law. Bangladesh has taken refuge to the principle, and Bangladesh have expanded the dimension of that principle and developed the principle into a newer perspective by relocating the Rohingyas and by relocating the refugees to Bhashanchar. So the status that has been given to the Rohingyas or to the FDMNs who are living there, it is basically a temporary shelter which is under the control of Bangladesh government, specifically by the camp in charge in the Bangladesh Navy. It is maintained by the Bangladesh Navy, and if we give the example of the NGOs who are actually working very comprehensively there, Bhashanchar is basically very well maintained and controlled by BRAC. BRAC is really doing well when it comes to the protection of refugees in Bhashanchar, apart from all other NGOs. So as I have mentioned, about 40,000, in fact, to be very specific, 37,260 Rohingya FDMNs are living there. Approximately 40,000 FDMNs are living in the Rohingya camps of Bhashanchar. So as I have already mentioned, Bangladesh has not ratified, or Bangladesh is not a party to the Refugee Convention 1951, but there are some certain customary international laws which we can mention while giving protection to the Rohingyas in Bhashanchar. Yes, I can see a question from Tihi. Please do ask.
হ্যালো স্যার। স্যার,
So,
ভাষণ স্যার যেহেতু একটা চর, এখানে সবসময় একটা প্রাকৃতিক দুর্যোগ আর বন্যার একটা পসিবিলিটি থাকে। আর রোহিঙ্গাদের ক্যাম্পগুলো হচ্ছে অনেক ফ্রিজে, তো ওদের লাইফ থ্রেট থাকে এইসব দুর্যোগের সময়। এটার এগেনস্টে কি কোনো অ্যাকশন নেওয়া হচ্ছে?
Tihi, so much. Thank you so much for the wonderful question. I have already mentioned that there are risk of natural disasters, climate disasters that may harm the Rohingyas in Bhashanchar, but the whole chore is being covered by an embankment which we call Beribad in Bangla, And then all the clusters, there are almost I cannot exactly recall the number. There are almost 90 to 100 clusters dispersed in the whole Bhasanchar. And behind all the clusters, there are cyclone centers or shelters, which are almost 4 to 5 story buildings for the protection during the climate disasters. So the Rohingyas have been there for almost 2 years. Bangladesh has experienced 2 or 3 cyclones in the meantime, but none of the cyclones have caused harm to the Rohingyas in Bhasanchar. In fact, I would like to mention that Hatia, an island just beside the Bhasanchar, were being harmed during the last cyclone, but Bhasanchar remain protected due to the protection standard that is being followed by the Bangladesh Navy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, going on the next one. So, is it visible on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, we need to fix some research objectives. Why we are actually going to pursue the research whenever we are going for a field visit. So there are 3 objectives, as I can mention from my research or from our research we have conducted in the Bhasanchar, that we want to implement and assess the core refugee rights that are required for the protection of refugees. I have mentioned 2 of the rights here that we call principle of non-refoulement. Principle of non-refoulement is a principle that allows, or that directs the host state not to push back the refugees whenever they are coming to getting protection after facing some atrocities in their origin land. And the second one I have mentioned here is access to justice, that the refugees who are living here, or the FDMs who are living in the lands of Bangladesh, they should get proper access to justice whenever there is a legal issue like us. Let's say, for example, whenever there is an issue related to rights violation or something else, we go to the court. The same amount of right should be enjoyed by the refugees. That is also a perspective we have in our mind. Then, secondly, I would like to mention that there is something there is something related to higher education which we focused on in our research. The Rohingya refugees as well as the FDMs should be allowed to pursue their higher education in Bangladesh, so that they can enjoy the rights just like us, just like the citizens of Bangladesh. Secondly, the second objectives that we kept in our mind when we were approaching to our research, that was the document and the protection gaps in offshore administration. As the island is almost 6-7 hours away from the mainland, there should be some there are gaps, whether in terms of documents or whether in terms of giving proper protection. So we need to focus on the aspects of proper protection through the documents or some other approaches that will give them comprehensive protection while getting hosted as refugees or as FDMs in the camps of Bangladesh. The third point, that we wanted to evaluate the standard which is being followed by the Bangladesh government, Bangladesh Navy, and the NGOs in the Bhasanchar, whether they follow the international legal standards or not. Let's say, for example, whether they are getting proper sort of health facilities, whether they are getting proper medical facilities, whether they are getting proper educational facilities, whether they are enjoying the freedom of movement, whether they are enjoying some other rights which are very necessary and basic for the lives of the people. So that is where the objectives were. We wanted to focus during our research. Going to the methodology, we focused on two methods while pursuing our research. It will be a blend of legal analysis and empirical field research. As we know, what is an empirical field research? আমরা আমরা 3-4 ধরনের মেকানিজম ফলো করি। উই ফলো 3 to 4 অ্যাপ্রোচেস, লাইক আমরা questionnaire survey kori. We do questionnaire surveys to the camps of to the camps. Then we go for individual interviews. Then we go for focused group discussion, or some other ways through which we will get and collect information from the field, not from the books, not from the statutes, not from the journals, not from the black letters, not from the blogs, not from the websites or internet. So it will actually be some information which will be collected from the field. So and apart from the empirical field research, we will be focusing on the desk research or desk based approach. Well, we will be studying the books, journals, statutes, and all other related documents which we will be helping us to assess the current condition of legal standards that is being followed by the Bangladesh government. And that will help, or that will also help us to assess the required changes needed in the statutes or the laws of Bangladesh to give comprehensive protection to the refugees. So in our research, we had the questionnaire. We went for interviews, as you have seen the pictures. We went for group discussions. We went for semi-structured interviews. We went for questionnaire asking. We went for documentary analysis. Basically we went door to door. আমরা প্রত্যেকটা প্রত্যেকটা ক্লাস্টারে তো যেতে পারি নাই, but we selected some of the clusters and then we went to the rooms of the clusters. We as this is a topic related to higher education, আমাদের এমন মানুষজন লাগবে. We need people who are aged from 16 years, 15 years to 30 years. So we tried to find out the samples. আমরা চেষ্টা করছি আমাদের 15 বছর থেকে 30 বছরের মধ্যে যারা আছে, to find out these people and to get the actual sample who wants to study and who wants to pursue higher study. Like there are people who are dropouts. There are people who do not want to pursue their higher studies. They won't be of any use for our research. We tried to find out people who can actually pursue the higher studies, or who have the urge to pursue higher studies. This helped us in finding our samples, related samples, which has helped us to get the actual information needed for our research. Remember, whenever you are going for field work, there are some ethical framework you need to follow. There are matters of confidentiality. Like whenever we were taking the pictures, we took permission from them that should we capture the photo. Are you okay with the fact that we are going to capture a photo? Then whenever they have nodded yes, we have taken the picture. And I have also taken permission from them to give these pictures to post on Facebook. They have said that yes, you can post them on Facebook. So there are some issues of confidentiality, safety protocols you have to mention. And also, whatever you do, whatever you are going to do, whatever approach you follow, whatever information you take from them, remember, everything should be gotten after you get consent from the Rohingyas, or from the samples, or from the participants who are participating in your research. I can see someone has raised the hand. Please ask the question.
Sir, you just said that it's your perspective to express that the refugee should be allowing to come before the law according to the Bangladeshi
Sorry,
Constitution.
I'm not getting you. There is too much noise. I'm unable to hear anything. You can ask the question in message.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So then we try to integrate our questionnaire into our legal analysis. There are certain as our whole research was all about the right to livelihood and right to higher education for the Rohingyas. We try to demarcate and differentiate between the whole questionnaire. We tried to divide the whole questionnaire into 6 parts. The first one was the demographic profile. That is about let's say, for example, that is about the details, that is about the gender, that is about the cluster they are living in, that is about the age, that is about their aspirations to higher study. Demographic profile is all about the personal accounts of the refugees. Let's say, for example, I am Sakhawat Sejan. Who are you? I am Sakhawat Sejan. what status do you have in Bangladesh? I'm a citizen of Bangladesh. Where do you reside? I reside in Omuk place. That is what we did in the demographic profile. We tried to get the basic information regarding the refugees. Then as the research is all about the educational background, the higher studies and right to livelihood, we tried to bring some discussion on the education of these people, of the Rohingyas. As we can see from the screen, that ICCP, the Article 13 and Article 20, Article 13 of the ICCP and Article 28 of the CRC, Convention on the Rights of the Child, that there is something discussed related to education. We bring and we brought the references from these particular two articles and tried to ask questions to those refugees, basing on these two legal foundations of two different conventions. And as both of these conventions are related to human rights, so there were no barriers to ask questions from this. So we tried to find out the educational background of these refugees, in which grade they are studying, and till which grade they will get the chance to study, or whether they want to study after the grade 12 or not. We try to get the information from here. So also, after getting the information, we try to differentiate between the actual scenario in books and actual scenario that is happening in the camps. আমরা চাইছি বের করার চেষ্টা করছি যে আসলে ক্যাম্পে কি আছে, লতে কি আছে। আনফরচুনেটলি ল একদিকে, ক্যাম্প আরেকদিকে, as there is a gatekeeper. Bangladesh is gatekeeping the convention, as it has to follow due to the current scenario of Bangladesh. The political discussion is there. So there is something called gatekeeping, and because of this gatekeeping, the refugees are getting education with the help of different learning centers and different NGOs. There are no government designated education centers. The government does not allow Bengalis as the medium of education, and also there are certain mechanisms, processes the learning centers has to follow whenever they are giving them education. So we bring and brought the examples from the directions given in Article 28 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child and Article 13 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. So we tried to find out the gaps through our physical discussions whenever we were talking with the Rohingyas in Bhasanchar. So section C, then we went to the novelty part of our research. That was all about the access to education of the refugees. We tried to ask them whether they have the access. As I have already mentioned, they have the access till grade 12. Nothing after that. When there is no ifs, there is no but. They cannot study after grade 12. So then we went for the discussion that whether they have the interest to pursue higher studies, or whether they have the interest to pursue after grade 12 or not. We try to take note of the answers they have given whenever we are talking with them. So during this time, we thought of something that is there are a lot of people. Bangladesh government recently Bangladesh government is thinking of something, maybe thinking of something. There are a lot of youth, there are a lot of young people in the Rohingya camps, or camps of Cox's Bazar and Bhasanchar, who actually can contribute to the economy of Bangladesh, who can actually contribute to the whole education industry of Bangladesh, if they get a chance to study, or if they get a chance to pursue higher studies. Bangladesh government might consider establishing colleges in the camps, considering the ratios. 1 or 2 colleges can be established in the camps of Cox's Bazar, considering the volume of refugees living there. One may be established in the Bhasanchar, considering the students, or considering the aspirations the Rohingyas are having in these places. But this is a very tough call. Considering the whole scenario of Bangladesh being not a party to the UN Refugee Convention 1951. Then the second focus we tried to give, that was all about livelihood and skills. There are there are certain sort of skills that should be earned by the refugees so that they can earn for themselves. They can contribute to their own family, they can contribute to the economy of Bangladesh. See, the number of funders, the number of NGOs who are going to fund for the refugees are decreasing day by day. The funds are getting cut. So it is getting very, very, very tough for Bangladesh government to maintain the bread and butter of all the refugees, all the FDMNs living in these camps. So in these situations, Bangladesh needs to think of something. Also the refugees or the FDMNs need to think of something where they will be able to earn for themselves. They will be contributing to their livelihoods through skills. Bangladesh government will be helping them by teaching them skills, or some of the NGOs or INGOs may help in the process by teaching the skills required for earning, to help themselves through livelihood, which is a very tough call. But Bangladesh needs to eye for this, as there is the hopes of repatriation stays very, very dim. We cannot hope that they will be taken to their motherland in very recent time, which is a very tough call considering the threshold of Arakan army's control over the whole Rakhine region. So we need to think of something. Also, one of my peers, to whom I got connected with through Munaf, Abdul Munaf, one of my closest people from the Rohingya community. He connected me with. Is Munaf here? Am I audible?
जी सर
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
Munaf here?
yes, I am here.
Okay, that's great. Okay, Munaf, listen to me. So, Hedayatullah, I had a discussion with him today. So, this guy wants to do something very special for his community. Uh, I feel very much connected to him. He teaches a lot of students after the time of learning centers. I had a chance to go to his coaching after 6 p.m. There are almost hundreds to 200 students who are getting education, informal education through the hands of Hedayatullah, being he being a principal of that coaching center or school, whatever he calls. So he tries to. Uh, Munaf, would you please mute yourself?
Of course, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So this guy is teaching a lot of students informally after 6 p.m., and they're getting a lot of education, uh, from science, from history, from geography to everything. So I had a chance on the second day to go to his school and interaction with the students who are studying there. So I found very interesting information. I got very interesting information from all these kids studying there. One of them, one of the classrooms were basically handled by Hedayatullah, and I went to his classroom. There are almost around 15 to 20 students in that classroom. I asked these people, what do you want to become? Someone replied that he wants to become doctor. Someone replied that he wants to become astronaut. Someone replied that he wants to become an international explorer. Someone wants to become an activist like Lucky Korimapa. And there are a lot of other people who wants to become a lot of things, uh, despite knowing the fact that the aspects, the hope of higher education remains dim, considering the barriers happening in the camps, and considering the situations remaining in the camps. But still, these people are hoping for something good. Still, these people are thinking that they will be getting skills training. They wants to learn IT, they wants to learn about artificial intelligence. They want to learn about some other stuffs which will be helping them to earn more skills and contribute to the livelihood of themselves. They do not want to live on the mercy of anyone. They do not want to live on the mercy of the government. They do not want to live on the mercy of the NGOs. They want to earn for themselves. So our research our research also had a focus on that particular aspect of livelihood and skills. Okay, Munaf, I am giving you 2 minutes time to share the goals that currently Hidayatullah and you are pursuing with your community. 2 minutes.
Okay, especially thank you for giving me the floor here. Okay, I'm continuing Bangla for better of
And
understanding.
no, you have to continue in English because there are foreign delegates in this meeting.
Okay, I'm continuing Bangla. Actually, as a refugee student, I am
Oh,
pursuing
Munaf,
my.
at first introduce yourself.
Okay,
And
thank you.
okay, you are a recognized refugee, right, in Bangladesh?
Of course.
Okay, okay,
Thank
okay,
you,
okay,
thank
okay.
you. This is Abdul Munaf from the world largest refugee camp, Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Recently, I'm studying one of the private university in Bangladesh and pursuing law. Uh, my parents came from Myanmar in 1992. I born and resided in Cox's Bazar camp, and I completed my SSC and intermediate at 2022 and 2022. Then I got admit. Then I got an opportunity to study in one of the private university in Bangladesh to pursue law degree. There is a lot of student from camp who are not able to got admit university, lack of the suitable opportunities, lack of financial condition. There is a lot of Hidayatullah, not only one of Abdul Munaf, not only one Abdul Munaf, there is a lot of Abdul Munaf, and there is a lot of Hidayatullah, like who are not able to admit university, who are want to be a change maker for the community. They are ready want to be a change maker for the Rohingya community especially. So I'm really grateful to the Bangladesh government and the Bangladesh community for giving me the opportunities. So
Thank you so much, Munaf.
so
Thank you so
please.
much, Munaf. This means a lot. So basically, yeah, please mute yourself, Munaf. Thank you so
Of
much
course.
for your presence among us. So basically, if not from a perspective of a citizen of Bangladesh, let's think from a perspective of a human. That we do not have our own home. We are not living in our own country. We are being thrown out of our own country. We are being thrown out of our own houses. We do not have the opportunity to go back. We do not have
So
the
I
opportunity.
want to talk more. That's is I now the life. What is the refugee life as a refugee, as a being a refugee? What is the life? I know very well. So please learn about the refugee, not only about the Rohingyas. Also, there are a lot of people in the whole over the world who are really deprived from their human rights, their basic right. So I especially request all of you who are today's meeting, please try to make try to do something for them who are really deprived from their human rights, from their basic right.
Thank you so
Even
much.
I'm
Thank you so
seeing.
much. Uh, Thank you so much, Munaf.
Okay.
Please finish it within 30 seconds. Please. Munaf, please finish within 30 seconds.
Okay, I have finished. Okay, you can
Okay.
continue.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Means a lot. So let's think. What I was saying was, let's think from the perspective of a human being. Let's think from the perspective of a humanist who actually values the human existence, who actually value the human rights that one should be getting after getting born into the wombs of their mother, after getting born in the air of this world. You need to enjoy all the basic rights that you are supposed to enjoy as a human being. So the life that currently the Rohingyas are living, the life that currently the Ukrainian refugees are living, the life that currently the Syrian refugees are living, the life the currently the African refugees are living in many of the countries is not a life at all. It's not a life at all. Nasis sir, one of my gurus, name this life a subhuman life, who do not have anything, who do not have anything to lose, who do not have anything to gain. If the governments, if the host countries do not allow them to do not allow them to enjoy the proper living standards in the host countries. I will take questions later, as this is it is already 9:40. We have to finish the session within 20 minutes. So going to the next section that we focused on was all about the training and awareness of their rights and education they should be pursuing well, whenever they are living in the camps as the refugees or FDMNs. So to build the capacity, among the refugees, so that they can earn for themselves, they can provide for their family. The governments need to arrange training, and the NGOs, all the NGOs need to increase the awareness among the refugees or the FDMNs, so that they can actually eye for better future. They can actually eye for something to earn. They can eye for opportunities where they will be able to earn for themselves, provide for their families, living in the era of freedom. So at the same time, there remains a case of following the laws of the host country. It is a matter of concern. We need to follow that, but before that, we need to think it from the perspective of human rights. We need to think from the perspective of humanitarian ground, so that we can actually ensure that training and awareness for the refugees who are living in the camps. This was the fifth focus of our research, while we were trying to search. We were trying to look for. We are trying to find some mechanisms, some scopes where they will be provided with training, they will be provided with awareness regarding higher education, access to livelihood, etc. Lastly, we tried to ask through our research that what they want to achieve through their higher studies, or what should be they eyeing to achieve through higher studies. We tried to ask everyone what is his future goal, uh, what does he want to become, and how he will pursue that. So all of them have said that they want to become something, whatever profession, as I have already mentioned, doctor, uh, explorer, activist, or something else, astronaut, or something else. But also they want to pursue the higher studies through the facilities of a scholarship, just like the AUW. Women have an opportunity through the windows of AUW, but unfortunately the men do not have such opportunities. The main man refugees also want some of these opportunities like AUW to pursue higher studies, and they will be able to, after getting the higher studies, they will be able to support their community. They will be able to work for their own rights. They will be able to voice for their own rights. They will be able to talk against the government of Myanmar. They will be able to talk against the atrocities of Arakan army. They will be able to talk against the atrocities of the Buddhist extremist group working in the whole Myanmar region, uh, who have forced them to live this substandard life. Okay. All of them have focused on something that were very aspiring. In fact, students from grade 6 to grade 12, grade 5 to grade 12, all of them want to become something very special, to contribute to their community, to contribute to their welfare of the community, to contribute to their future generation, to contribute to their own home country, to contribute to their own land, to contribute to their upcoming generations in the centuries. So this was the sixth, and the last part of our research that we focused during the research we pursued in the Vashanchar. The after our research, we found something very sensitive and very heartbreaking information from these refugees. Even if the amount of protection they're receiving, question there are certain questions, there are certain complications they have mentioned. But in any way, I have found out something very interesting and important, that all of them want to return to their homeland with their rights, with their citizenship right, which was being taken away by the 1982 Citizenship Act. They want to enjoy all the basic amenities that we are currently enjoying in this country as a citizen of Bangladesh. They want to enjoy the same thing as the citizen of Myanmar in the state of Rakhine. So, if we consider and compare the living conditions and legal standards there, uh, the shelters currently provided to the Rohingyas in the Bhasanchar are very much well furnished, organized, comparing to the camps of Cox's Bazar. The sanitation and healthcare facilities are there, but it is not top notch in terms of complicated diseases, in terms of complicated situations or life taking situations. There are no proper treatment approaches in the lands of Bhasanchar. Also, there is freedom of movement within the island. They can enjoy the freedom of movement uh, beyond the island, but with the permission. That is kind of a restriction, but still they can move freely within the island. Freedom of movement is not restrained when it comes to moving in the island, but it is followed, and it requires some restrictions. It requires some approvals whenever leaving the island. So there is something I found very interesting, that there are too many out of court settlements in the Bhasanchar camps, out of court settlements, as there is no designated courts to to adjudicate the cases of these refugees. Most of the cases are being solved by the camp in church, Maji, or some of the NGO officials through informal setup. Apart from the critical criminal cases, almost most of the problems are being handled by the officials of the government, officials related to several NGOs, officials related to some other organization which help in the adjudication process. But I believe, as a student of law, this should be adjudicated in the court of law. Some needs to follow, uh, or the court of law should have access, or the Rohingyas should have access. The Rohingyas must have access to justice, must have access to courts whenever there is a serious issue. So whenever there is a serious case regarding their rights violation, regarding gender-based violence, regarding domestic violence, or regarding some other issues which are very sensitive, which needs to be addressed and adjudicated in the court of law rather than informal setups. Uh, we found there are specific vulnerabilities, as I have already mentioned, that there are gender-based violences are always there, because the situation in the whole camp is kind of a protracted situation, and and also there are no livelihood facilities, or the scope of livelihood, or the scope of earning within the camps. As a result, these people uh, do not actually access, or do not actually invest their time in something else, and they choose the option of domestic violence, and some other violences which are happening around the camps. Uh, uh, mentioning about the fact of gender-based violence, it remains a very crucial point, and the unemployment plays a crucial role. The men who do not go to work, the men who do not earn for the family, the men who do not provide for the family, often seemed that they are playing a violent role, or they are being violent towards the women of their homes. But I found something very interesting, and I found something very appreciative by Brack Learning Center, uh, and the teachers of the Brack Learning Center, that they have taught the upcoming generation. That means the boys who are aged to 15 to 20 years, that women need to be respected. There should not be any gender based violence. there should not the women should not be beaten, the women should be respected, women should be treated with utmost honor whenever there is a dealing with the women. And they are saying that আমাদের 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 বোনদেরকে প্রোটেক্ট করতে হবে, আমাদের বোনদেরকে সম্মান করতে হবে, এটা আমাদেরকে আমাদের স্কুলে শিখাইছে। এবং they actually follow this, and I have found some instances where they were giving salam to their community sisters, saying that আমাদের কওমের বোন, আমাদের ওদেরকে ওদের সম্মান ওদের সম্মান এবং ওদের সম্ভ্রম ওদেরকে ওদেরকে ওটা রক্ষা করতে হবে, ওদেরকে সম্মান করতে হবে, ওদেরকে প্রপার রেসপেক্ট দিতে হবে, ওদের রেসপেক্টকে প্রোটেক্ট করতে হবে। So I found this very interesting that they were talking about the protection of the respect and honor of their community sisters. Yes, there are certain cases, there are cases where women are being treated badly by the men of these particular camps. But apart from this some limited instances, the overall perspective of the upcoming generation aging from 15 to 30 years, I have found that they are very much respectful towards the women, and they want to respect them, they want to give them their designated honor, which is being treated by the learning centers, which is very appreciable. So then the next point we tried to get out from our research was that the decision making approaches which are transparent or not, whether the refugees get to participate in the approach of governance, and whether the NGOs are coordinating with the government or not. So NGOs basically as BRAC is one of the leading NGOs there, or including all the NGOs and BRAC, they all try to cooperate and coordinate with the government and government bodies, and they try to incorporate and ensure the participation of the refugees or the FDMNs through the Majis. The Majis actually represent the interest of their community whenever there is a decision to make regarding the community by the participation of different stakeholders. Let's say, for example, the government officials, the NGO officials, and the representative from the camps. So this was a fine outcome we got through our research, but there is always remain a but, whether the Maji is actually representing the whole community or not. This still remains a question. But still, the participation, I may say, the participation is there. At least the law allows or approves of the participation of the refugees in decision making and governance. Reflections, that means whatever we have tried to found out in doing three or four important points, I would like to sum up for you all that the barriers are heavy, as I have mentioned, regarding the movement outside the island. Whenever we are moving to the island, or whenever we are moving from the island towards the island or from the island, it requires permission. The permission approach is much more complicated and much more tough whenever we think from the perspective of the FDMNs, because they have to wait for the permissions to be granted by the respective authority. There are bureaucratic barriers, but still the government bodies tries to coordinate as much as possible. The coordination does not help in many of the cases. There are ethical dilemmas. Legally, we are hoping a lot of things, considering the perspective of international refugee law, United Nations Refugee Convention, but the implementation or the aspirations of customary international law, which talks about the proper protection or standard life of the refugees or FDMNs, in practice and in implementation, this remains a very tough deal. This remains a very tough call, because the expectations do not meet the ground realities proposed by the law. Whenever it came to the methodological adaptations, we tried to focus on the individual interviews so that we can get more comprehensive information. We almost covered around 100 interviews one with the youths who want to study the higher studies. Also, we tried to um, study the uh, theoretical part of the research. So whenever it comes to the trust building, whenever it comes to the getting the actual information we want to get from the research, we try to communicate with them, we try to feel their pain, we try to become a part of them so that we can get the actual information, so that we can get the actual aspiration, so that we can get the feeling what they are feeling by living there, and know about their future aspirations so that we can help them somehow in the process. So I would like to give you some food for thought. My thousands of articles in internet that uh, not being a party to the refugee convention 1951 are causing a lot of problem from Bangladesh and bringing complications for the protection of refugees in the country. Then the offshore administration or offshore management of refugees we are doing currently in the Bhasanchar. What I would like to define what is offshore management of refugees. Whenever we are trying to relocate or whenever we are trying to settle the refugees outside the mainland in some other lands that is away from the away from the mainland, that is called the offshore management of refugees. So as Bangladesh is currently doing the offshore administration of refugees, what is the legal basis of that? There is a legal basis. There is something called internal relocation alternative and principle of doctrine of refuge. On the basis of these two principles and some other principles of international law, Bangladesh is actually practicing the offshore administration, even if it is not a party to the 1951 Refugee Convention. Then there is a fact that whenever we study in book, whatever we study in book, there is a difference, big difference whenever we try to get the information from the field, get to learn from the field. The learnings from the book and the learnings from the field are totally different, and that's what we have found. And that's why I have given here a question: how can field research influence industrial legal proceedings? Definitely it can influence, as we know the real time scenario, real time feeling of the people who are living in these camps. There are certain legal ethical boundaries in legal research where, as I have said, that you have to take permission before doing anything, before asking any question, before taking any picture, before doing any activities with the participants or with the respondents who are responding to your questions. Going to the food for thought, how to we have to find out, or this can be a research topic in future, that says that trying to balance the state sovereignty with refugee rights, legal innovation in protected displacement. I would like to define protected displacement. Protected displacement is basically when the certain group of people cannot go or cannot move out of a single place. They or whenever the certain group of people get stuck in a single place without enjoying or without having any right to move from there, this is called a protracted displacement. How can we uh, how can we deal with protected displacement in new and change legal innovation or change legal environment, considering the current scenarios? Then we can also focus on the evidentiary standards and refugee law research by going into the going to the field visits, like in Bhasanchar or in Cox's Bazar. Also, side by studying the different books, journals, laws related to international refugee law. Then uh, then uh, then we can do a comparative study, a comparative lesson, like whether there are any other offshore processing or offshore management of refugees or not, or Bangladesh and Bhashanchar is the only one managing the refugees, managing the refugees in offshore. This can be a research topic. You can give a comparative study in offshore processing of refugees or offshore management of refugees, considering some other case studies from some other places of the world. uh, then we can say that then we can say that by summing up the whole discussion, that legal research, whenever we are trying to study, that is something very much related to people. International refugee law, refugee itself is related to people. Refugees itself belongs to people, so it must be grounded with the field realities, or the practical experiences which are happening in the camps, or which are being experienced by the refugees in the camps. Then we need to know the dimensions or the opinions or POVs, point of views or perspective of the refugees who are actually going through the situation. Then going for the methodology, which will be obviously mixed by empirical study and conceptual study. Conceptual study means studying for the doctrines, studying for the theoretical informations, studying for innovating theories by the doctrinal analysis or conceptual analysis. um, would you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you so much. uh, the, then we can go for the ethical standards we need to follow whenever we are going for field research, getting proper permissions from proper authorities whenever we are moving towards the camps. After getting the permissions, then following the proper approach, proper ethical standards, taking proper consent, taking the necessary measures to conduct the research. And then uh, we need to focus on bringing the field experiences to in the black letters, or in the form, or in the document, that what we need to write comprehensively, we need to write emotionally, we need to write collectively, that what we have experienced in the refugee camps. And we should reflect the feelings, we should reflect the activities, or we should reflect the aspirations of the Rohingyas, refugees or FDMNs that we have experienced in the camps. This will help to give us a more practical and practical overview. This will help us getting connected with the Rohingyas to ensure their protected life, to advocate for them, to uh, advocate for their identity, to argue for their identity of self-determination in Myanmar, etc., and etc. Now, I would like to share some pictures of our field visit, if you allow me. So this is we tried to collect as much as information possible, and having as much as information from the field. So these are or these there are four data collectors conducting interviews with four individuals who are aspiring Rohingya children who wants to achieve something through their education, through higher education. This guy specifically with the jeans and the bag, he is an IT expert. He wants to study artificial intelligence and go for comprehensive study regarding computer science and engineering, and exploring the field of IT and artificial intelligence. I hope that all of them gets the chance to pursue whatever they want to pursue by the help of government, by the help of international NGOs or NGOs. Uh, then so this guy is Hedayat. Can you see the mouse? These pictures are from the BRAC learning centers. Focus group discussions are going here. Apart from the individual interviews, they are trying to get the information required for the access to higher studies and livelihood by discussing with them regarding their future goals and aspirations. Hidayat is basically helping us to translate, which was not uh, which was very tough. If I say that if we wanted to get information from them, in many of the times this happened that we could not communicate with them, we could not connect them due to the language barriers. Hidayat helped us and them to connect through the information we asked, and they needed to answer that whenever we were asking. These lectures are in BRAC learning centers, different learning centers. So this is also a focus group discussion when while we were trying to get the uh, questionnaire survey questionnaire form filled by the respondents sitting here, and all of them are the students of in this picture. All of them are students of grade 8 to grade 10. This is another picture of a dropout student after grade 12 who cannot study after grade 12 because there is no chance to, and Hidayat was sitting there to help us getting the information. Uh, so basically, our respondents, our data collectors and respondents sitting in the same seat, they wanted to click the picture just to share the happy moments. So all of these people who are sitting here in these classrooms, they are the ones who wants to pursue something great through higher studies in future. So we believe, the team of Bangladesh Center for Refugee Studies believe we can do something for them. Uh, uh, this is basically this is basically a picture after the second day field visit, when the trip visit was completed after getting proper response. And these are the disciples and students of Hidayat. All of them have high hopes and high dreams to achieve for their community, to achieve for themselves. We click this picture as a memory. And this was the picture of the day when we were leaving for Vashanchar. Almost 500 to 700 Rohingyas left for Vashanchar after visiting to Cox's Bazar in the monitoring of Bangladesh Navy. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. That's it from my side. I'm open for questions. Hopefully, I have covered the necessary information or covered the necessary agenda that was being proposed by this session. Uh, I hope you got the necessary information needed for your future research endeavors. Yes, Meet, please ask the question.
আমার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে, প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে যে মাইগ্রেশন অর্থাৎ মাইগ্রেশন যেগুলো আছে ওগুলো নিয়ে ইউএনএ ডিফারেন্ট ব্রাঞ্চ যেমন আইএমএ কাজ করে থাকে, তো রিফিউজিস নিয়ে কি কোনো ব্রাঞ্চ কাজ করে থাকে না যে ইউএনএ?
Yeah, definitely there is a branch, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, এটা জানতে।
Thank you so much. Anyone else who wants to ask a question?
স্যার আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল।
Definitely, please.
আমরা রিফিউজিদেরকে মেনটেন করার জন্য যে ফান্ড পাচ্ছি, এই ফান্ডটা আমরা লাইফ টাইম পাবো না।
না, ডেফিনেটলি না, প্রশ্নই আসে না।
আর আমাদের বাংলাদেশ যেহেতু জনসংখ্যা দিন দিন বাড়তেছে, কারণ আমরা নিজেরাও জনসংখ্যার দিকে অ্যাওয়ার না ততটা, এতগুলা রিফিউজিকে হচ্ছে আমাদের বাংলাদেশে জায়গা দেওয়া রাখা, এটা তো দিন দিন ডিফিকাল্ট হয়ে যাবে। তো এদেরকে অ্যাওয়ার করার জন্য যে তারা তাদের রাইট, যেমন মিয়ানমার যে রুলসটা বানাইছে, যে একটা বানাইছে তাদেরকে হচ্ছে স্টেটলেস করার জন্য, দিস ইজ নট গুড, রাইট? এটা ওদের রাইটস ভায়োলেট হচ্ছে। তাদেরকে কি অ্যাওয়ার করা হচ্ছে তাদের রাইটস এর ব্যাপারে? I think I'm clear, sir.
Definitely you're clear. I'm listening to you. Yes, definitely তাদেরকে aware করা উচিত, but what can we do after making them aware regarding the whole scenario? There is nothing to do. Let me tell you something. That বাংলাদেশ গভর্নমেন্টের রোল ছাড়াও মানে বাংলাদেশ গভর্নমেন্ট ওদেরকে ফেরত পাঠানোর জন্য পার্সু করা, বায়োল্যাটারাল এগ্রিমেন্টে যাওয়া, বায়োল্যাটারাল এই জিনিসটাকে ইয়ে করার মাধ্যমে, নেগোশিয়েট করার মাধ্যমে ঠিক করে আনা, এটা ছাড়াও the scenario is being very much tough, especially after the 2021 coup that has happened in Myanmar. প্রথমে তো সিনারিওটা এমন ছিল যে মায়ানমারের যে ইয়েটা ছিল, মায়ানমারের যে গভর্নমেন্ট ডেমোক্রেটিক যে গভর্নমেন্ট ছিল, দ্যাট ওয়াজ বিং ওভারথ্রোন বাই দ্য মায়ানমার মিলিটারি জুন্তা। তো ওই 2021 সালের পর থেকে পুরো মায়ানমার কিন্তু মিলিটারি জুন্তার দখলে। এবং এর থেকেও আরো খারাপ ভাবে সিনারিও ওয়ার্স হয়ে গেছে যখন in 2024 Arakan army has taken over the whole region. After the taking over of the whole region by Arakan army, the dreams, the hopes, the aspirations of repatriation have become low. We can definitely make them aware regarding the whole scenario, but we cannot. International law does not allow us to push them in such a situation where their lives are endangered, where they will be killed brutally by the Arakan army forces. So we can aware them. They are, in fact, we do not have to aware them. The Rohingyas and the FDMNs are already themselves aware. They want to go back to the home country, but uh, but the situations are not supporting in the whole process. Have you got my answer, Thi?
ইয়েস স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। আর
Thank you.
হচ্ছে স্যার, রেগুলার তো হচ্ছে রোহিঙ্গাদের পরিমাণ বাড়তেছে, ওরা মায়ানমারের থেকে বাংলাদেশে তো রেগুলার আসতেছে, আমরা তো এটা প্রিভেন্ট করতে পারতেছি না, এটা সংখ্যা দিন দিন বাড়তেছে।
Why do you have to prevent? My question is, why do we have to prevent? We do not have to prevent it. Necessarily we do not have to prevent it. কেউ কিন্তু মানে আমরা যখন আমাদের বাড়ি ছেড়ে যাই, আমরা কিন্তু খুশি খুশি কেউ কারো বাড়ি ছেড়ে যায় না। It's not that easy. Those people who are coming from Myanmar very recently, they are coming because Arakan army has started atrocities over the whole Rakhine region. They are fleeing their birthplaces. They're fleeing from their own land because of the atrocities which are being carried by the Arakan army in the recent times. So we need to do something else. We need to look for something else, and that something else is very tough to find. Trust me, the scenario is very much complicated. The way we perceive it from Dhaka. Where if you go there, if you go to the camps of Cox's Bazar, if you go to the camps of Vashanchar, the scenario is totally different. It's tough, but we have to hope for the best. They themselves do not want to stay in Bangladesh. They want to return to their homeland. But with all the rights as a citizen in the country of Myanmar. Thank you so much, Tihi. Mir, yes, Mir.
স্যার, আপনার রিসার্চ অনুযায়ী যে বাংলাদেশে মানে মায়ানমারের যে রেফিউজি গুলো আছে, তারা মানে কোন সালে যাইতে পারে? যে আপনাদের
কোথায় যেতে পারে?
হ্যাঁ, ওদের মায়ানমার ওদের দেশে ফিরে যাওয়ার যে প্রবণতা, সেটা মানে কোন সালে হইতে পারে?
There is no certain timeline. I do not want to dishearten you, but that is the truth. That there is no certain timeline, and to be very honest, the hope of repatriation is very dim. As I have said again and again, repatriation হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা খুবই কম, especially after the situation of Arakan army happening in the land of Rakhine. So যেটা আমরা করতে পারি, we can ask for third party resettlement. আমরা থার্ড পার্টি রিসেটেলমেন্টের জন্য মানে রিকোয়েস্ট করতে পারি, অন্যান্য তৃতীয় দেশের সাথে রোহিঙ্গাদেরকে ভাগাভাগি করে নিতে পারি, বার্ডেন শেয়ার করতে পারি আমাদের মধ্যে। বার্ডেন শেয়ার করলে হয়তো বাংলাদেশের উপর কিছু চাপ কমবে, বাট দিস উইল অলসো নট হেল্প, কারণ থার্ড পার্টি রিসেটেলমেন্ট হইলেও সেখানে তো আর লক্ষ লক্ষ রিফিউজি নিয়ে যাবে না, সেখানে লক্ষ লক্ষ এফডিএমএন নিয়ে যাবে না, সেখানে নিয়ে গেলে 5,000 নিবে, 10,000 নিবে। উই নিড টু ডু সামথিং যেটাতে ওদের রিপ্যাট্রিয়েশন এনশিওর করা যাবে। Not only repatriation, what I'm trying to say is not only repatriation. The repatriation should be voluntary. The repatriation should be dignified. The repatriation should be with all the rights and honor they deserve in their country, they deserve in their mainland. I hope you got the answer. Famida, please ask the question.
I don't know if my question will exactly be relevant to your presentation, but I want to ask, like, why is there such system in our constitution where this refugees needs to be the citizen to get the basic studies? Like, that is a very basic human need, right? Education.
That's a very tricky question to answer. I know the answer. I would rather choose to answer this question very strategically. Let me be sorry for that at the first hand. The constitutions of the different countries are framed like that. Once there was a dream that the world will be a global village where there will be no borders, no borders. All human being or 7 billion human being living around the world will be treated equally, will be treated with all the human rights, all the rights whenever they live, wherever they live, whatever the country might live. But there is something called border. There is something called state according to the definition of international law, according to the definition of some other laws which adjudicate the rights of the states, right, the borders and everything else happening around the world. So as a result, the constitutions of these constitutions has have emerged uh, as a consequence of the emergence of states, or the emergence of different states in the world. And these constitutions are very much nationalistic, are very much populist, that do not go against the spirit of its own country, that do not go against the spirit of its people. The constitution try to hold to their own people, try to hold to the people of their own race. They do not want to incorporate someone that belong to the some other race. And as a result, uh, we cannot actually very happily, or we do not actually very happily welcome someone from foreign country to reside in our country. Some of the countries or some of the constitution in this world are liberal, but most of the constitutions, and specifically most of the constitutions of South Asian country, are very much restrictive, are very much conservative, while it comes to incorporate someone else, or while it comes to give residence to someone else from some other country. And as a result, there is no protection for someone who do not belong to the citizenship of this country. Yes, there are some certain protections, as the word person is there. Some articles of the constitution uh, have the phrase person in in the place of, instead of citizen. And these facilities or these rights which are being given under the designation of person are being enjoyed by everyone, irrespective of citizenship. But the rights we are talking about are only being given to the citizens. As a result, the people are coming from outside, they
ক্লাস
do not
শেষ
have
হয়নি এখনো
any
আবার
such right of
দেখুন
higher studies. It remains on the mercy of the government. Also, let me be very specific and clear to you that the Bangladesh do not have any kind of fundamental right regarding the access to higher education. It remains a fundamental principles of state policy. This means that the government will not give you the lunch box, but the government will not snatch your lunch box. I would like to clarify it. The government own ensure your higher education, but the government won't prohibit you from accessing higher education if you want to access. So that's why the citizens are not giving it as a fundamental right. The persons or the foreign individuals coming into this land will be getting it. Is a castle in the air, I must say. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next question.
Thank you, sir.
So my question is that you have already said that the refugees cannot come to the court and ask for justice in Bangladesh. So what is the method they are using to solve their problems, their regular life problems?
Oh, are you talking about solving? Are you talking about the self-sufficiency in terms of solving their own problems by themselves?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay. So that is where my argument is, and that is where our researchers' aim is, that we should be making them self-reliant. Uh, there is a principle of international refugee law that I call as local settlement. There are two types of settlement. One is state-sponsored settlement, and the other one is a spontaneous settlement. A spontaneous settlement means that the refugees will be getting settled in the host state by themselves. Nobody will restrict them. the government will just give them the facilities and amenities needed for their protection, needed for their residence. Then they will be using the opportunities, rights, and amenities to earn for themselves, to live for themselves, to earn livelihood for themselves, to live for their family, to earn for their family, to provide for the family. This practice is being practiced by the some African countries. They allow this kind of settlement, but in our country there is no such arrangement. We believe in state-sponsored settlement. That means the state will regulate the settlement, and also we believe in encampment. We believe in creating camps for the refugees, where the refugees will be living in the camps and getting protection or getting their basic necessities through the help and cooperation of different NGOs and international funding. Thank you so much. Now moving to Shishir.
I have a question. Why cannot we use force in this case? Because international law actually erases us to do so.
Sorry, would you please rephrase it for me?
We can use the force to locate them in the Myanmar. I'm saying this perspective also.
Force. Oh, that's pretty tough. We cannot go for worse, right?
The only 100 kilometers is enough, sir. I think only 100 kilometers.
Only 100 kilometers is enough. But the scenario, the practical situation is is not that easy, my dear Shishir. The situation is very very tough there. Whenever we think of repatriation, whenever we think of protection of these people in their own land, the use of force requires a lot of geopolitical dynamics, requires the participation of China, requires the participation of Russia, incites the inclusion of USA in the process. So this will be a full-fledged war if we want to use
I'm
force.
saying
And
this, sir.
and Bangladesh is not in a state to go for a war. Sorry.
We can follow the Turkish example.
That's pretty tough because from the perspective of from the perspective of military amenities, they are far stronger than Bangladesh. Myanmar government in scenarios, Myanmar government focuses on investing in arms and ammunitions rather than in food and education. They can starve for a few days, but they will not stop buying arms and ammunition from the international arms selling groups. So, considering the military amenities, it's pretty tough. They are stronger than us.
Okay, sir. I understand, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Last question. Yes, Alamgir Hussain.
স্যার আমার কোশ্চেনটা ছিল স্যার হচ্ছে যারা মানে অথরাইজড রিফিউজি তারা কি সামহাও মানে ডিফ্যাক্টো ভাবে তারা কি সিটিজেনের যে রাইটগুলো সেগুলো ভোগ করতে পারবে? যেমন আমাদের সংবিধানে আর্টিকেল 44-এ যে বলা হয়েছে যে সাংবিধানিক প্রতিকার পাওয়ার অধিকার, এইখানে সামহাও তারা কি কোনোভাবে সুযোগ পাওয়ার আছে? যেমন ওদেরকে আমরা প্রাইভেট ইউনিভার্সিটিতে পড়ার সুযোগ দিচ্ছি, তো এখানে কি এডুকেশনের যে জায়গাটা আমরা খুলে দিছি ওদের জন্য, যেটা একটা রাইট হিসাবে আমাদের নাগরিকরা ভোগ করে থাকে, তো এই ক্ষেত্রে কি স্যার ওরা এটা মানে ডিফ্যাক্টো হয় কি তারা মানে অথরাইজ যারা রিফিউজি তারা কি সিটিজেন হিসেবে কাউন্ট হবে কিনা আর কি স্যার এই বিষয়ে স্যার?
They do not get considered as refugee in general. Sorry, they do not get considered citizen in general. But ওই যে refugee যে convention আছে সেখানে কিছু rights এর কথা বলা আছে. Whenever we designate and recognize someone as refugee, there are certain rights which will be enjoyed by them according to the United Nations Refugee Convention. So যখনই আমি এদেরকে রেফিউজি হিসেবে করব, ডেজিগনেট করব, রেফিউজি হিসেবে পরিচয় করে দিব বা রেফিউজি হিসেবে লিগ্যাল আইডেন্টিটি দিব, we have to give them legal education. And that becomes their right under Article 22 of the United Nations Refugee Convention, 1951. They do not have to become citizen for the facilities. They will get all the facilities under the different articles of United Nations Refugee Convention, from livelihood, work, movement, ration, public education, medical care, and all other facilities which are enjoyed by the citizens. Have you got my question answered?
স্যার মানে আমার যেটা আর কি বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম, মনে করেন স্যার তাদের অনেক ধরনের রাইট যেগুলো আর কি ভায়োলেট হয়,
হুম হুম
সেই
হুম।
ক্ষেত্রে কি তারা আমাদের সুপ্রিম কোর্টের যে যে লিগ্যাল সিস্টেম সেটা অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে কিনা?
ডেফিনেটলি অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে, ডেফিনেটলি অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে। রেফিউজি হয়ে গেলে ডেফিনেটলি কোর্টে অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে, রেফিউজি না হলেও অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে। দেয়ার ইজ কোর্টে অ্যাক্সেস করা, এটা একটা কোর্টে অ্যাক্সেস করা, অ্যাক্সেস টু জাস্টিস ইজ এ ফান্ডামেন্টাল রাইট, যেটা নন ডেরোগেবল। কোনোভাবে ডেরোগেবল করানোর কোনো সুযোগ নেই, এটা রেফিউজি হোক বা না হোক। রেফিউজি হলে তারা বেশি করে পারবে। যেমন আমাদের দেশে অনেক আগে থেকে আফটার আফটার দ্য 1971 ওয়ার অফ ওয়ার অফ ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স, হ্যাঁ, স্ট্রাগল অফ ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স ফর আওয়ার কান্ট্রি, বাংলাদেশের যে যুদ্ধ, সেটার পরে there are a lot of Biharis living in the Geneva camps of Mohammadpur, as we know. So in many of the situations and cases যেগুলোতে সিনারিও অ্যারাইজ করছে, তাদের রাইটস এন্ড রেজিগনেশনস নিয়ে তারা কোর্টে মুভ করছে। And Tara, after getting the refugee status, some of the people who were born after 1971 were being given citizenship by the Bangladesh government after a judgment, after a case of 2008, which is titled Sadakat Khan Fakku versus Chief Election Commission Bangladesh. After the decision of this particular case, Bangladesh government had to give the citizenship status to the Biharis. So yeah, they enjoy this kind of rights, tantamounting to access to justice and all the legal facilities that a citizen gets whenever a refugee resides in a host country as a refugee. I hope you got my
স্যার
answer.
স্যার যদি স্যার যারা জন্মগ্রহণ বর্তমানে করতেছে তারা তো মানে এই দেশের সংবিধান অনুসারে কি স্যার যে বলছে বাংলাদেশের আইন যেটা আর কি করে দিবে যে নাগরিক সূত্রে আর কি যেটা আর কি তৈরি করবে, এখানে স্যার দেখা যাচ্ছে তারা জন্মসূত্রে কি স্যার বাংলাদেশি হওয়ার সম্ভাবনা আছে না?
আইন তো তাই বলে। বাংলাদেশের যে বার্থ এন্ড ডেথ রেজিস্ট্রেশন অ্যাক্ট আছে 2004 এর যে আইন আছে, ওই আইনে তো বলাই আছে যদি কেউ বাংলাদেশের মাটিতে জন্মগ্রহণ করে তার সিটিজেনশিপ থাকবে, তাকে সিটিজেনশিপ দেয়া লাগবে। সো ওই পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে তো ডেফিনেটলি ওই পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে ডেফিনেটলি মানে যদি ওটা যদি আর্গু করে, মানে ওটা যদি আর্গু করে ডেফিনেটলি তাদেরকে দিতে হবে। ওইটা হচ্ছে ল এর পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে, যদিও ওই ল মানে ওই ল ক্লিয়ার না, ওই ল এর সেকশন ক্লিয়ার না, প্রভিশনস ক্লিয়ার না, বাট ওই লকে ইন্টারপ্রিট করলে, অর্থাৎ বার্থ এন্ড ডেথ রেজিস্ট্রেশন অ্যাক্ট যেটার কথা আমি বলতেছি, ওইটাকে যদি আমরা মানে ইয়ে করি, মানে ইন্টারপ্রিট করি, যদি গোল্ডেন রুল অফ ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন ফলো করে ইন্টারপ্রিট করতে যাই, ইয়েস, the people who are getting born in this country, especially the people who are the Rohingyas, after getting refuge in this country, they can claim for the citizenships. Yeah.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Okay. Because the act, I would like to mention, because the act says so that this act, the birth and death registration act, it applies to all persons, including refugees, stateless persons, including all persons who get born in this land of Bangladesh. As a result, person includes everyone. It does not require citizen. I hope you got it.
স্যার নিউট্রালাইজেশন একটা অ্যাক্ট ছিল 1926 এ স্যার, ওইখানে স্যার হচ্ছে
Naturalization Act.
জি স্যার, ওইখানে তো স্যার মানে যারা ব্রিটিশ কলোনির আর কি আন্ডারে ছিল তাদেরকে স্যার নাগরিক কাউন্ট করা তো যায় স্যার। তো সামহাউ স্যার মানে বলতে চাচ্ছি স্যার যে যদি ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন একটু ব্রডলি করা যায় তো তাদেরকে তো স্যার।
I would like to mention that Myanmar was not a British colony. Tough ছিল, মানে ব্রিটিশ কলোনি ছিল, but এটা আমি the last colony, মানে the last that was being hold, the whole area of Myanmar was being under the control of the Japanese army. So last colony, British colony ছিল এর আগে, before the second world war এর আগ পর্যন্ত, অথবা একটা নির্দিষ্ট সার্টেন সময় পর্যন্ত এটা ব্রিটিশ কলোনি ছিল, বাট অনেকবার যুদ্ধ লাগছে, স্পেসিফিক্যালি ব্রিটেন এবং ইংল্যান্ড এবং জাপানের মধ্যে। তো লাস্ট যখন ওরা এতে ছিল, মায়ানমার ওয়াজ a part of Japanese colony. Yes, some places of Myanmar were under the British control, some places of Myanmar were under the Japanese control. I hope you got my I hope you got my point. Now you can go for the point you are trying to say.
স্যার আমি বলতে চাচ্ছি স্যার যে মানে যদি আইনগুলোকে একত্রিত করা যায় তাহলে তো স্যার তারা ইজিলি স্যার মানে আমাদের সিটিজেনশিপ ক্লেম করতে পারে। কিন্তু স্যার এখানে একটা সাংঘর্ষিক বিষয় হচ্ছে আমরা তো স্যার রিফিউজির যে কনভেনশনটা এটার মধ্যে স্যার স্বাক্ষর করি নাই। তো এখন আমাদের যে ওদেরকে যে এডুকেশন আর হচ্ছে মেডিসিন যেটা মানে মেডিসিন ফ্যাসিলিটি যেটা আমাদের দেশ প্রোভাইড করবে সেটা আমাদের আর্টিকেল 15-1 বলা হয়েছে। সেটা আবার আমাদের স্টেট প্রিন্সিপাল যেটা আমাদের নিজস্ব নাগরিকদেরকে দিতে বাধ্য নয় স্টেট। তো এই ক্ষেত্রে যখন স্যার ওরা ক্লেম করবে তখন তো স্যার একটা স্টেটে একটা এমন পরিস্থিতি তৈরি হবে যেখানে
ওরা তো ক্লেম করতেছে না। প্রবলেম তো পয়েন্ট তো এখানে ওরা তো ক্লেম করতেছে না। আমাদের তো হিউম্যানিটেরিয়ান পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে প্রোভাইড করা উচিত। যেমন আমাদের দেশে আমাদেরকে তো আমাদের জন্য তো এটা স্টেট পলিসি। দেন why there are so many hospitals in Dhaka and all over the country? And will it be a problem if we get a specialized hospital in the camps? For let's say, for example, the camps of Cox's Bazar or Vashanchar. It is a fundamental principle of state policy, but still there are a lot of hospitals, there are a lot of doctors providing treatment to all the citizens of this country. So there remains a gray area of discussion, that being a fundamental principle of state policy, we get all the facilities regarding treatment, and if we consider it from the humanitarian perspective, they do not want it. They are just saying that they do not get it, but as they are currently living in this particular region, you cannot throw them back. You have no option to push them back. So what should you do? Should you leave them for dying without any sort of treatment, or should you be arranging some kind of treatment, basic treatment to get protection from diseases that may take their lives? So it is a very very humanitarian reason.
এটা দেওয়া
Thank you.
যেতে পারে। কিন্তু স্যার প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে এই জায়গায় যখন আর কি স্যার ওরা ক্লেম করবে যে এটা আমাদেরকে দিতে হবে, অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওরা যেখানে স্যার
ওরা
নাগরিক
ক্লেম
হচ্ছে
করবে, আপনি এটা ধরে নিচ্ছেন কেন? দ্যাটস এ নোশন। এটা তো আপনি ধরে নিতে পারবেন না। আই হোপ ইউ গেট মি। ওরা ক্লেম করবে না, ওরা ক্লেম করার মতো স্টেজে নাই তো।
আরেকটা স্যার বিষয় হচ্ছে ওদের আইন কি আমাদের ভূখণ্ডের মধ্যে মানে বলবদ্ধ হওয়ার কোনো প্রসেস আছে?
না, there is nothing like that. ওদের তো কোনো আইন, ওদের দেশে কোনো আইডেন্টিটি নাই। ওদের আইন কোত্থেকে আমাদের ভূখণ্ডে অ্যাপ্লিকেবল? প্রশ্নই আসে না।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Thank you so much. Zawad, this is the last question. Already it's 10:30. We need to finish it.
স্যার
Please.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Namaskar.
স্যার, কোন রিফিউজি কি বাংলাদেশের নাগরিককে বিয়ে করতে পারে? আর বিয়ে করলে আর স্যার এখন আমার বাসা হলো কক্সবাজার। স্যার দেখা যাচ্ছে কক্সবাজারের মধ্যে মানে যারা রোহিঙ্গা আছে ওরা বেশিরভাগ মানে বিভিন্ন সমস্যা ক্রিয়েট করতেছে, প্লাস মানে স্থানীয় যারা আছে ওদেরকে বিয়ে শাদী করে মানে এক প্রকার বাংলাদেশের নাগরিক হয়ে যাচ্ছে মতো অবস্থা। এখন এই ক্ষেত্রে স্যার বাংলাদেশ সরকারের পদক্ষেপটা কি হতে পারে? আর যদি কোনো কারণে স্যার মানে ডিভোর্স হয়ে যায় বা কিছু হয়, রিফিউজিরা যদি মানে ওদের দেশে চলে যায়, ওই ক্ষেত্রে মানে বাংলাদেশের আইন অনুযায়ী আইনগত কি পদক্ষেপ হতে পারে?
আচ্ছা, এখন বিয়ে করে ফেললে তো বাংলাদেশের আইনে বিয়ে করে ফেললে বেসিক্যালি দেয়ার ইজ নাথিং টু ডু। মানে দ্যাটস এ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোয়েশ্চেন, এবং এটা খুব প্র্যাকটিক্যাল একটা সমস্যা যেটা কারেন্ট সময়ে বাংলাদেশ অনেক বেশি ফেস করতেছে, এবং ভাষাঞ্চলও আমরা 2-3 জনের সাথে কথা বলছি যাদের জন্ম সাতকানিয়াতে, যারা রোহিঙ্গা না কিন্তু রোহিঙ্গাদেরকে বিয়ে করে তারা ভাষাঞ্চলে গিয়ে আশ্রয় নিছে। I got the chance to interact with 2 or 3 people যারা এরকম বিয়ে করে হচ্ছে যে চলে গেছে ইয়েতে ভাষাঞ্চলে চলে গেছে, দো দে আর বাঙালিস। তো এই সিনারিওটা খুব বেশি প্রকট হচ্ছে দিন দিন, এবং বাংলাদেশি যারা পুরুষ আছে তারা রোহিঙ্গাদের থেকে বিয়ে করতেছে, এবং রোহিঙ্গারাও সাদরে বিয়েটা মেনে নিচ্ছে, কারণ এটার মাধ্যমে তাদের সিটিজেনশিপ এনশিওর ডেফিনেটলি হবে। আর বাংলাদেশি সিটিজেন যদি কাউকে বিয়ে করে নিয়ে আসা, অটোমেটিক্যালি বাংলাদেশের কালচারে, বাংলাদেশের লিগাল স্টেচারে প্র্যাকটিসটা আছে যে দে বিকাম সিটিজেন্স অফ বাংলাদেশ। এবং রোহিঙ্গারা বাংলাদেশিদেরকে বিয়ে করার এই একটা অনেক বড় কারণ, যেখানে হচ্ছে তাদের সিটিজেনশিপ পাওয়ার সম্ভাবনা অনেক বেশি প্রকট হয়ে যায় বা বেড়ে যায়। তো এটা একটা প্রবলেম এই সেন্সে যে বিয়েগুলো হচ্ছে শুধু একটা বিয়ে না, এমনও আছে যে একজন 3-4টা করেও বিয়ে করতেছে। দেয়ার আর লট অফ এক্সাম্পলস। তারপর there are examples of ডিভোর্স হয়ে গেলে আবার সিটিজেনশিপ স্ট্যাটাস নিয়ে একটা কোয়েশ্চেন থেকে যাচ্ছে। যদিও ডিভোর্স হয়ে যাওয়াটা ম্যাটার করে না, কারণ দেয়ার ইজ সামথিং কল ডক্ট্রিন অফ স্টপেল। একবার বিয়ে হয়ে গেছে, বিয়ে হয়ে গিয়ে তার ওই সিটিজেনশিপের ক্রাইটেরিয়াতে সে পড়ে গেছে, দ্যাট সে যে আগে সিটিজেনশিপ ছিল না, তার যে আগে সিটিজেনশিপ ছিল না, সে যে আগে সিটিজেন ছিল না, ওই জিনিসটা ওখানে স্টপ হয়ে যাবে। He or she will automatically she will automatically be considered for the scope of citizenship in this country. সো ডিভোর্স হয়ে গেল, ইট ডাজন্ট ম্যাটার। ডিভোর্স হয়ে গেলে এটা আপনি যে প্রশ্নগুলো করছেন, দ্যাটস মোর সোশিওলজিক্যাল, মোর অফ সোশিওলজিক্যাল প্রবলেমস which are being caused by the caused by such scenarios of marriages between the Bangalis and the Rohingyas. Also, ওই ক্ষেত্রে ফেরত যাওয়ার যখন প্রশ্ন আসে, এখন কারোর সাথে কারো বিয়ে হয়ে যাওয়ার পর যদি কেউ ফেরত চলে যায়, ওইখানে আর কিছু ক্লেম করার কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে না। কিন্তু যখনই বিয়ে হচ্ছে, বিয়ে করে সংসার করতেছে, দেন দেয়ার কামস এ কোয়েশ্চেন অফ getting citizenship or standing for the rights of citizenship. Trust me, if they keep residing in this country for the next 10 to 20 years, they are going to ask for the citizenship, and we cannot help in the process, unfortunately. That's sad but true. We have to accept that there is nothing to do unless and until the upcoming government tries to establish a strong bilateral negotiation between Myanmar and Bangladesh, trying to bring down influence from different international stakeholders like USA, Russia, and some other countries who will actually obligate Myanmar to bring back the Rohingyas from this country. Thank you so much. I like the question of Alamgir. Very much inquisitive and very much very much intriguing questions, which are very necessary, considering the perspective of refugee law research in Bangladesh. Thank you so much, Alamgir. I like the questions. But we need to we need to, and we have to think from a perspective of humanizing approach. We should not be dehumanizing the Rohingyas or the refugees living in this country. As I was saying, we have to think from a notion that which is liberal. আমরা ধরে নিব যে they are not asking for anything, as they are. আমরা কেন ধরে নিব সেটা? As they are not asking for anything currently. They are not pledging for any rights. They are not they are not going for movement. They are not doing andolon. They are not doing protest. They are not protesting for any of their rights. We need to think that they are not going to do that. They may urge, they may request, but yeah, even if they do not urge, even if they do not protest, the practices of international law, the practices of international human rights law and standards will somehow obligate us to a lot of rights and facilities which has to be provided to the Rohingyas or refugees or FDMNs living in this country. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I have almost taken more than two hours, 2 hours plus. Yes, Rashmi has raised hand. Rashmi, or is it Tihi or someone? Okay, nobody has raised hand. It's done again.
You have to answer the question. Reshmi,
I would like to answer the question. I actually want to answer the questions that they are having currently, as this somehow connect to the core interest of my research. I would love to answer the questions. Rashmi, please go ahead. Rashmi, are you listening to me? Please go ahead. Okay, I guess it's mistakenly raised. Kumkum, you can go forward with your next question.
Sorry, sir, for the interruption. I believe we have one more query. Would you like to answer that, or would you like me to conclude with today's session, whichever you like?
Okay, Ibnul, please make it quick.
স্যার, ওই যে অথরাইজড যে রিফিউজি আছে, তাদের জন্য আমাদের সরকার কি কোনো বিধিমালা বা অর্ডার মানে পাস করছে কিনা, যে এইভাবে তারা আর কি অথরাইজড হবে?
Okay, okay. To be very honest, Bangladesh government is currently following the refugee convention. যে 30,000 রেফিউজিকে বাংলাদেশ সরকার মানে রোহিঙ্গাদের প্রায় 30,000 রোহিঙ্গাকে বাংলাদেশ সরকার রেফিউজি স্ট্যাটাস দিছে, ওদের জন্য বাংলাদেশ সরকার রেফিউজি কনভেনশনে যা যা ফ্যাসিলিটিস আছে সেগুলো প্রোভাইড করতেছে। আর বিহারিদেরকে অলরেডি সিটিজেনশিপ দিয়ে ফেলছে 1971 সালের পর যারা জন্মগ্রহণ করছে। দে আর গেটিং অল দ্য রাইটস অল দ্য ফ্যাসিলিটিস যেগুলো আমরা পাই সিটিজেন হিসেবে। থ্যাংক ইউ।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Okay, Kumkum, I guess it's done from their side. Rashmi has raised hand, but she's not responding. Let's take the fact that she has raised it mistakenly.
Okay, sir, sorry
Thank
for from her behalf. So everyone, as we have come to the end of the session, I believe we have learned a lot from the expert, obviously. Thank you so much for this. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our respected speaker today, that is Sakhawat Sejan, sir, for sharing your expertise and the experiences of Bhashanchar and everything. I believe a lot of people had a lot more questions that they would like to definitely share with you today, but unfortunately we have a time restraint, and I believe you are also probably tired from talking for so long. So I would also like to give my warmest thanks to all the participants for joining the session today and for listening so attentively and contributing and asking the questions and making the session a lot more interactive. I believe it was a very nice session for Sir as well, because he just said that it is his area of interest and he liked answering those questions. So thank you so much for your presence and curiosity for making this session a lot more impactful. We hope and believe that this session will help out in your future research and career fields. And on behalf of BDOPN juries, I and my entire team would like to appreciate the continuous support and enthusiasm, and we would like to extend our exact gratitude and everything to Sir once again. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time and patience with us today. Thank you for answering all the questions that our participants had.
you so
And
much.